right, that is it for the rest of the week. Friday night, thanks for joining us. This is Weather Overtime. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. Got a ton to talk about for tonight, so we're going to be watching, again, a lot of information flying on by here. But if you'd like to see more about any of your favorite topics or less or anything else you'd like to say about this, just go ahead and drop us an email. You can get to us at wdef.com/weather. And again, for tonight, not really seeing a lot of anything going on. We did have some showers out there earlier, but really not that much taking place at this point. What's left of some showers up north of us could be a bit of an issue. Again, for right now, Titan radar is showing a lot of activity way back up toward Knoxville, Johnson City, Bristol, into around Virginia in that area. But beyond that, again, relatively quiet for now. A little bit farther out on the view, there were some scattered showers taking place around Middle Tennessee a while ago. Those, again, have fallen apart. Light scattered showers, Knoxville to around Bristol, and all the way up to around portions of the Virginias, the Carolinas, and all the way off the East Coast. What's causing that? Our departing storm system, which gave us, again, some very good conditions for some very mild numbers out there. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little while. Downtown Chattanooga, a little bit on the hazy side, otherwise not bad, and looking at quiet conditions across much of the area for tonight. Lee Point from 153 and 64. Traffic kind of heavy for this period of time, but it is Friday night, so a lot of people out and about for tonight on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Again, not much showing up in the way of fog, at least just yet, but there will be the potential of some of that coming up later on tonight into tomorrow morning. Very nice view for tonight. If you have the opportunity around 10 o'clock Eastern, which is when we are recording this, go ahead and take a look out, because you may catch Venus and Mars very close together, the moon a little bit further up above where we have our camera pointed. So 3 planets in view here, not bad. Able to see some of that, and that's about the brightest thing out there for the time being. So nice little sky show taking place at this point. Hope to get you some more views coming up into the weekend if everything works, so stay tuned for that. Downtown Chattanooga from the News 12 studios, clear, not much fog here, looking off toward downtown Chattanooga off into the distance, and Highway 75 at 24, everything working along pretty well. Not as bad as last night with fog, drizzle, showers, and some thunderstorms out there last night. Not seeing any problem at this time in regards to travel across much of the area. So good. Hopefully it stays that way into this evening. Very pleasant numbers back in the lower 70s, but over the next several days, probably not going to be getting anywhere close to this, so enjoy tonight's low temperatures. That's about as good as those are going to get. From our own production department at News 12, Cooper Allen, thank you very much for a view of the Blue Ridge Mountains. This was taken a couple of weeks ago when the wildfires up in Canada were at their worst, so visibility out there was much poorer than what it was in the last day or two. So thank you very much, Mr. Cooper, for sending that in right there. If you've got pictures like Cooper did, send them in to us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and again, you can email them to us at pictures@wdef.com, or you can find out more on our main website, wdef.com, and click around on the weather section for more information on that. So far, so good for Saturday. If you're going to be casting a line out on the waters, mostly sunny, very warm, temperatures in the upper 80s. Not doing too bad out there. And for tomorrow, okay, I didn't have a chance to update the Gulf forecast, but Gulf forecast is basically the same as we get into and around tomorrow, with lack of rainfall coming up. We're pretty much done with the rainfall. Drier, clearer air back to the west. Our storm system swirling around here up to the northeast of us, and as that moves away, less chance of anything involving clouds or rainfall. You can see all this clear skies out here. A few clouds, yeah, but that's about it. Not as much moisture out there to make anything out of, so nothing showing up in the way of showers or thunderstorms. Top of the hour temperatures, it's still in the 80s back toward the mid-south area. Meanwhile, with the clouds and the rainfall, temperatures at the top of the hour, 10 o'clock Eastern, a lot cooler than any place else into and around the area. Again, for the grilling conditions out there, it wasn't too bad for tonight. Next couple of days on the Food City on the Grill Cast by Certified Angus Beef. Numbers again getting much warmer as we go into the end of the weekend, so please plan ahead for some cooler conditions and to cool yourself off, I should say, and the possibility of some thunderstorms Sunday night, and that could bring us the potential of some stronger weather coming on through. Good news at this time, the rain, the clouds, and everything else did a very good job over the last couple of days of quashing any major wildfire development, but in the last 24 hours, the bright red circles indicate again about 6 to 12 hours worth of developing areas of fire out there. So again, we're looking at more activity here. If the winds are correct, we could see more smoke heading back our direction. We'll keep a very close eye on that again over the next several days as we look at the air quality situation. There's our storm systems heading up the East Coast over the Potomac and over toward the area between there and the Great Lakes. We've got warmer air coming in from the west. It doesn't look like much at this time, but this is going to be our weather maker coming into about Sunday. In between here and here, we got a lot of not much, a lot of clear skies, so that's going to help to keep things warmer as we go into the next 24 to 48 hours plus. Numbers toward tomorrow morning back in the lower to mid 60s, and this will be as cool as it gets across the area for the next several days. Now, best possibility of rain showers out there will be well to our east. With that air coming in, making its way upslope, we could see the development of more showers and thunderstorms thanks to those mountains helping to move that moisture up there. Notice Nashville, too, back in the 90s and 91 down toward Birmingham. So we are seeing that warmer air making its way toward us. Early Sunday morning, not much. Early Sunday morning, but back to the west of us, that's where we see the potential of some showers and thunderstorms redeveloping, and that could be moving into the area by the time we hit about lunchtime on Sunday, about the time everybody's done with church and Sunday school. That's where you're coming from. We'll see more chances of rain and thunderstorms developing back to the north and northwest of us by Sunday afternoon, and that is where, let me back that up just a little bit, toward about very early Monday morning. That is where we may see another round of showers and thunderstorms coming on through. We'll take a look again at this through the weekend, so keep attuned to our social media channels, and we'll keep you updated on what we may be looking at out there in the potential of anything involving severe weather coming on through. Again, it doesn't look like a huge effort, but it is possible. Threat of severe weather tonight, gone. We don't see anything, big gap between us and all the way over toward about Little Rock for anything involving thunderstorms. Now into and around tomorrow afternoon and evening, still nothing going on, but notice well back to our north. That's where we see the potential of that slight risk of severe weather dropping down to our south. Now we are in the lesser marginal threat. It's not as much as the slight risk, but it is a threat of severe weather. So again, from Sunday night, Sunday afternoon or so into Monday, that's where we really need to pick up the potential of showers and thunderstorms coming on through. And again, that could be a problem for early Monday morning. So definitely want to tune in for Chip Chapman's forecast coming up bright and early at 5 a.m. on Monday for more details on that. You can keep track again of our website, wdef.com/weather for more information on that. All right, let's go ahead and run the numbers. Again, don't forget that this weekend is American Radio Relay Field Day for amateur radio operators. I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Don't forget also that it's going to be getting warmer soon, so it's time to make certain to get the extra ice water packed along, because again, coolest temperatures will be tonight into Saturday morning. After that, this is where we should be for numbers at this time of the year, and then also getting back into the lower to mid 90s as we go toward the middle to end part of next week. So definitely seeing a bit of a turn up in the temperatures out there. And again, if you see any again, this, not used to doing this backwards here, anything in the way of antennas or camp out sites that aren't usually around, this is field day. It starts tomorrow and it goes through parts of Sunday. It's 24 hours of competitive amateur radio contacting each other, whether you're an individual or a group. The amount of groups out there try to get as many points as they can for contacting other groups in a contest format. It's also a good open house. It's also a good way to make certain that you are out there. If you'd like to know more about amateur radio, stop by one of these sites and ask. If you'd like to know more about where they are, there's about 4 of them around registered on this website at arrl.org, and search on field day, look for the locator. This is a great hobby to get involved in. I really wish I had gotten my amateur radio license way before I did back in the year 2000. It would have been much more fun for a kid to have something like that, and to be able to contact people not only around the block but around the world and help out, especially when it comes to things like disasters and amateur radio involved in severe weather reporting as spotters and or chasers. But again, you know how I feel about chasers out there, so please be cautious if you're going to be doing that. But it's a good opportunity to learn more, and more information available on my social media channels. National Lightning Safety Awareness Week concludes tomorrow, but tonight's topic for Friday is lightning myths and how to help victims of lightning. When you get struck by lightning, you could be getting hit by as much as 100 million volts, and that can overload your body. It can stop your heart. It can cause shock, literal shock if you are able to wake up from stuff like that, disorientation. And this is a good opportunity to help. If you can, get the victim to a safe place instead of out in the open. Do that if you can while calling 911, because this is a life-threatening emergency and you need to get into a shelter, someplace safe. And again, if the rescuers show up, they are going to be in that danger zone too. So see if you can get the victim to someplace safe, in a building someplace away from tall trees or objects, or out in the open. Again, CPR can be used, but call 911 to let them know what's going on. And again, you can resuscitate somebody if you know CPR properly, and you can do the job to get their heart and their lungs pumping. You can save their life before emergency services arrive. Tons more information available again on the website, and I've got that all listed again on my social media pages for more on that if you'd like to know more about what's going on. Again, don't forget to send your signature to Jupiter on the Europa Clipper. The end of the sign-up period is December 31st, New Year's. The Europa Clipper mission will launch next year, October, so about a year and a half, somewhere in there, before this gets off the ground. But your signature could go on that microchip on board the Europa Clipper, sent to look for what's going on the moon of Jupiter called Europa. It's going to fly as far down as 16 miles above the surface. We have never been that close to this moon, so it's going to be really cool to be able to take a look and see what is going on that moon, to get us a really good close-up of what is actually happening out there. All right, let's go back a little bit. I almost forgot about this last night, but we want to take a look and see. Not only do we have one tropical storm, winds have really diminished in the last 24 hours. It was about 65 miles per hour yesterday for Tropical Storm Brett. That has now again gone down to winds of 50 miles per hour in the storm, still moving due west at 21 miles per hour. Meanwhile, back to the east of Brett, we have Tropical Storm Cindy. Now, this is really important to take a look at in the way patterns are taking place, and in the way that the ocean level is very warm, and we could see a very unusual season based on the number of storms that form, and again, depending on what El Nino does off the west coast of South America. Since 1968, that was the last time that we had actually two storms following each other from this area off of Africa in such close succession. This is very much not normal. So really cool to be able to see this happening here, and both these systems moving in about roughly the same direction. But here's the interesting thing. As we go into the next couple of days, the colors that you see on here, sea surface temperatures, the darker the red, the warmer the waters. And all of this area that Brett and Cindy have been over have been very warm, a little cooler here off of North-South America. But as we go into the next few days, again, it's going to be getting very warm here and very warm between where the Gulf Stream and the United States are. I'm going to put this into motion so you can see again as the storms make their way through. These models that you're looking at, the lines, are called spaghetti models or spaghetti plots for very good reason. Again, there are a number of different models with different parameters that take a look and see if the storm moves this way over this amount of water and the winds are blowing this direction and it takes a look and sees what's going on. So when you see the models in very close proximity here, that means that all the way into next week, it has a pretty good handle on what's going on, and we're pretty confident about what may happen. Now, if the lines were like all over the place, that would be more difficult for a forecast. But for right now, Brett appears to be heading for central areas of Central America, and then Cindy curving up might be a problem for Bermuda. Does not look like for now. If it keeps on going, it might be heading for New England, but there's a long time frame between here and by the time it gets that close. Matter of fact, it could be toward the end of the month of June and early portions of July before we see where these storms ultimately wind up at. So that's something, again, we're going to be watching with a decent amount of interest to see what goes on. We are just within the first month of hurricane season for the Atlantic. We really need to watch out what's going on. Now, the good news at this time is that the Sahara is sending out a ton of dust. It's making its way over the eastern areas of the Atlantic, and that's good news because any impulses that ride out here with it, that dust does have an effect as it falls on the surface of the water, and in the sky, that dust, as it settles down, blocks out what's going on with the sunshine, and therefore anything that forms in this area will probably not be as strong because the sun won't be shining down toward the waters, heating them up. So this may actually do us a favor by putting the brakes on development for anything else helping out there when it comes to those systems developing and moving off of West Africa. That can change. So again, this is the time to make certain that you're paying attention to what's going on, because if you are going to be traveling toward the east coast of the United States, you're going to be seeing these waves coming off of Africa, and as they do, matter of fact, it looks like Cindy is going to be heading up toward about Nova Scotia, so hopefully that holds for right now. And it looks like if Brett survives, it might be heading off the coast of western Mexico. That could be very interesting. But beyond those two, there's really not much of anything going on in the way of anything really major developing. Again, when you see these storms making their way off the coast and hold together pretty well, that's something to pay attention to. But so far for right now tonight, there's not a lot of major activity going on, and here's hoping it stays that way because we could really use some quiet conditions out there for the next several days and weeks. We do not need anything in the way of a big amount of hurricanes coming on through. High today of 82, the low was 66. That's pretty close to normal, but still very much below. Record high of 100 set back in 1988, and we're still behind for the year. For the month, we picked up a whole bunch of rainfall, about 2 inches yesterday, so now we are having a surplus for the month of June. Very good news on that. We need some more rainfall to make up for the deficit for the year, but as of right now, just really not seeing that at this point, so good news there. That'll about do it for tonight. It's just after 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Meteorologist Todd Heislip will have your forecast Saturday and Sunday night at 11. I'll be monitoring the potential of severe weather throughout the rest of the weekend, so keep it tuned to my social media pages and also to our main website for updates on the forecast there. And I'll go ahead and we'll have more with your into the week forecast with Chip Chapman. That'll be coming up bright and early on Monday morning at 5 a.m. Drop me a line at wdef.com/weather, aonic@wdef.com if you'd like to be able to send us a note right there. And again, please send us in some weather pictures. We could definitely use some more of them for the next couple of weeks, so get your pictures into us for the West Shore Home Weather Window picture of the day. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick, hoping you have a great, wonderful, safe weekend coming up. Again, keep it tuned to News 12 online and on air for the latest forecast, detailed information, and join me and Emily Casulo tonight on News 12 at 11. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we hope you have a great weekend.